Hi, this is a video on roasting poblano peppers. The first thing you want to do is pick up some poblano peppers at the grocery store. And when you're buying poblano peppers, you want to look for peppers that are firm and darker in color, if available. And the reason you want the darker peppers is that they tend to be, they offer more of that sweet and smoky kind of flavor after they've been roasted. I've got 4 peppers here that I'm starting with, and what I'm going to do here is just remove the stems and the seeds from the inside. Oh, and also I should mention that you want to make sure that your peppers are nice and washed under cold water. Dry them with a towel, and then you want to remove the seeds and the stem. And I'll do that now, and I'll be right back. So as you can see, I've removed the seeds and the stems from each of the individual peppers. Clean out the inside there. And I'm just going to cut these in half, flatten them out, and transfer them to a baking sheet here. And I've got my toaster oven that I'm actually going to use here because I've got the room for peppers will fit here, I believe. I'll put them in the toaster oven under broil for about 15 minutes, and I will be right back. So you can see that I've cut the peppers in half here, and what I'm going to do now is flatten them out on this baking sheet so I can roast them in the oven. Actually, one step that I will do this time, and I haven't tried this before, is I'm going to add olive oil to the skins of each of these peppers. I'm told that it may allow them to peel easier, because after you've roasted these, you'll want to peel the skins off and slice them. So I'm going to put some olive oil on these peppers and then place them in the broiler, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my peppers here. I've got my bottle of olive oil, extra virgin or any other kind of olive oil will work for this. I'm just going to pour some of that lightly over the peppers here, just enough to get a very thin coating on the peppers. My hands are clean. I'm just going to wipe them off wipe the peppers with the oil. Try to cover them completely so that the skin peels off a little easier. You can do this without the olive oil also. My understanding is that the olive oil just again helps peel the skins after they've been roasted, and it also helps them blister more evenly. And what you want here is you want the peppers to blister, and they'll get really dark. They'll completely change in color as they broil in the stove. And you want them to, you don't want to undercook these. You want them to broil nice and dark. That way you can be sure that the entire pepper skin is easy to remove. What I find is that these aren't completely flat, so even though I've pressed them down and tried to flatten them as much as possible, the tops of these, the ones that are closer to the heating element in the stove or in the oven, you'll get the blisters on the top first, and you won't get it on the bottom. So in the past, when I've done this, I found that if I took them out too early, you could peel the area that was higher, but the surrounding portions of the peppers were difficult to peel. But now that I know that, I can share that with you and hopefully save you some trouble. I will now wipe my hand off here, and then turn the toaster oven broiler on. And it says 10 minutes, but what I'll do is I'll turn that up to about 14 minutes. Open the door here. And then I'll just take the peppers, slide them in, and it's kind of hard to see in there because there isn't much light, but I usually actually have a flashlight handy when I'm doing this, so I can check on them. And I will be back in just a moment. So the peppers have been roasting I put them in with 15 minutes, or 14 minutes rather, and they've been roasting for about 3 minutes. And I'm just beginning to hear the peppers starting to cook in the toaster oven. And by the way, I use a wooden spoon here. I just prop it into the corner of the door so that the vapors can escape, because the water vapors from the peppers as they're released as it cooks. You can leave the door closed and it will be fine too, but I find this way here it just keeps a nice dry atmosphere in there. So I've got the camera on the peppers in there, just keeping a watchful eye. You can see that they're starting to bubble. Hopefully you can see with the camera here. See, you can see the bubbles just changing right there on top of the pepper, and then this one here is also starting to bubble pretty well. So, these will start to darken quite a bit as we progress, and I've got about 9.5 minutes here to go. So you can hear them popping and sizzling and whatnot in there. We will check back in just a minute or two. Okay, so we're back now, and the peppers have been roasting for approximately 7 minutes here, and you can really hear them sizzling, and you can see that the skins are starting to have blistered quite a bit here. Normally what I'll do is I'll let them continue cooking for a while. It's really kind of difficult to overdo it with the roasting on these, as long as you keep an eye on them. So I'll probably let these guys go for the full 14 minutes, take them out, and what I'll do is, as soon as I take them out, while they're nice and hot, I'll use these tongs here. I'll transfer them to this bowl, or I'm sure Pyrex or any kind of bowl will work, and you can either cover them with some Glad wrap, press and seal, or what I do, I find it a lot easier, is just to take a plate and put the plate over the top. It keeps in all that moisture and allows them to steam. So I leave them there for about 15 minutes, and then I peel the skins off. But I'll show you that, and we'll be back in just a moment. And we've got about 5.5, almost 6 minutes to go before I take these peppers out of the oven. Actually, what I just realized is what I can do is I took the spoon out of the doorway, because I was leaving that as a kind of like the door a little bit open so that the vapors would leave from the stove here. But it's really not that necessary at all, I don't think. I'm not sure if there's much of an added benefit. But here's what the peppers look like, and we've got almost 5 minutes, almost 4.5 minutes remaining of the broiler. These are on the top rack, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we've got about 2 minutes left on the timer here. These have been cooking for almost 12 minutes here. What I'm going to do is, this is the first time cooking these, or roasting these rather, with olive oil on the peppers, and I've noticed that it's actually sped up the time for the blistering effect to occur. And it looks like the peppers are fully blistered and ready to remove from the oven, so that I can transfer them to this glass bowl that I have. I'll give you a good look at the peppers here. I'll put them on a Okay, so the peppers are very hot. You can still hear them sizzling. I'll just take some tongs that I have here, and you can see the bottom. So I left the seat in there, but so the bottom is still as it looked initially. I'll just transfer these over to this glass bowl. I'll just lay them individually. I'll turn the stove off. And they smell delicious, actually, so if you're a fan of any kind of pepper, you'll absolutely love these, I think. And so, got this last one, transferring it to the bowl. Got a small stack there. Just going to put the lid, and you can see the steam forming on the bowl already. So I'll put this lid on, and you can see the bowl is pretty steamed. And I'll just set the timer here for 10 minutes. and we'll check back in 10 minutes, and I will show you how to peel the peppers. Okay, so the peppers have been standing for about 10 minutes or so, steaming in this bowl here. I'm going to remove the lid, and those are some pretty nice looking peppers. Put the plate in the sink, and the next step to this process here is to remove the peppers from the bowl. And what we want to do is it's hard to do this with one hand and hold the camera, but essentially you want to take each pepper and just peel the skin. You can see it's nice and loose here. Just peel the skin off of each of the individual peppers. And I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now I'm back and I've got the peppers, and I've peeled each of the individual peppers. It's nice and easy. These skins came off very, very easily. They're nice and loose, which meant that I've roasted them or broiled them for an adequate period of time, and the entire peppers were blistered, so that if you see that you're peeling the peppers pretty easily and it comes off, maybe in the center, but the sides of the peppers, you find that the skins are sticking to them, perhaps you didn't broil them long enough, and you'll find that if you leave them in the broiler long enough, that the skins do come off quite easily. So here's what the skins look like when they come off. You just discard these, obviously. Those are the skins, and then I usually julienne these or slice them into little strips here, and I'll put them in a Tupperware container, and I'll use them throughout the week. They'll last up to about 7 to 10 days. The sooner you eat them, the better. If you're not going to eat them, I guess within 7 days, or maybe even shorter, probably 5 days, you probably want to freeze them, put them in a Ziploc baggie, suck the air out, put them in the freezer, and they do freeze well. You can take them out in the winter months when you can't find fresh produce like these peppers here, and you can use them then. And what I do is I'll use these for if I'm cooking burritos. I'll take these, and I'll also take like a white onion, I'll slice it thin, and I'll saute that and add some cream and some cheese, and I'll add it to a burrito or chicken burrito, and it comes out, it's a really nice topping. Also, you can add these slices to an omelet, or you could add them to a sandwich. You could do various things with these, and poblano peppers are really versatile. They're not overly spicy, and they add a really nice depth of flavor to many dishes. Well, so that's it. I hope this was helpful for you. Please add your comments below, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching.